Listen, you want to be here watching Guns N' Roses?
Hey everybody, what's going on? And welcome to Guns N' Roses Central, and let's get started with this week's news. So this was from a couple weeks ago. Now, there was an Unheard duet featuring Axl Rose and Sebastian Bach that surfaced online. Now, it's from the song Sorry, and you guys may already know that Sebastian Bach sings background vocals on the song, but they're really hard to distinguish just because of how, dense the mix is and how many instruments there are on the actual track. Now, somebody had actually posted just the vocal track from the song, and you can clearly hear Sebastian Bach's vocals with Axl's vocals, and it sounds pretty amazing. It was posted on Facebook, and then it got removed, but I'm sure if you guys look hard enough online, you can maybe find somebody who will share that stuff with you, or you'll find somebody who uploaded it again. And even somebody sent the link to Sebastian Bach on Twitter, so a Guns N' Roses fan page, the podcast Appetite for Distortion, my apologies to Brando, so he posted the video and tagged Sebastian Bach in the tweet saying, "Never heard this version of Sorry with Sebastian Bach before, loved the harmonies with Axl, and I gotta agree, it sounds amazing." To which Sebastian Bach actually responded saying, "Sorry vocal mix with Axl Rose, never heard this clip before, no idea where it came from, but that's the track at Guns N' Roses." So to give you some backstory on where the track came from, all you guys shitting on games like Guitar Hero and Rock Band, well, you wouldn't have isolated vocal tracks and isolated guitar tracks or any other isolated tracks without those games, because that's where the actual vocal track originates from. So back in 2009, in April of 2009, the full album was released as DLC for Rock Band 2, and people were able to finally separate the actual instrumental tracks because they used the actual master recordings when they put the song in the game. So the vocal track is from Rock Band 2. I'm 99.9% sure of that. So here's an interview that Duff gave during NAMM where he told a joke that Axl Rose had texted him, and then he also talked a bit about his solo record and upcoming solo tour. Here's what he had to say.
Anything you don't want to cover? Anything you do want to cover? Can we include a dad joke?
Oh, wait, okay. But let me get a good one.
All right, sure.
Which one am I going to tell? I mean, the turtle one's all right. I have, where I get all my dad jokes? We share. This is where I get all my...
Is that who I think it is?
Yeah.
So just checking the phone is Axl Rose.
Oh, that's a good one.
I didn't read it. Okay. Let's just do a joke. Start with a joke.
I saw a kid napping. No, I told her wrong already.
So did you let him sleep?
Yeah. You already saw it on there.
I did see it on there. Yeah. Your phrasing was a giveaway.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah. This is one I got.
Okay, this is good stuff. Good stuff.
Slice of apple pie in Jamaica is $2.75. Mm-hmm. And if you go to the Bahamas, it's $2.50. And if you go to Aruba, it's $3 for that same slice of apple pie. Yeah, those are the pie rates of the Caribbean.
And that awesome.
Yeah.
And how's the solo work going?
Oh yes, just my record.
Yeah.
Oh, so I've written a couple books, and this last tour that I was just on was 2.5 years, and we traveled around the world like 4 times, and It was a very interesting time. The last 2.5 years has been interesting in England, interesting in America, interesting in the rest of the world as well. And I'm a history reader. All I do really is just read every night. And I like being informed. I like traveling, talking to people, and knowing where, what the lay of the land is wherever I go. And it's evolved over the 30 years I've been traveling. It interests me. Instead of writing a book about that, which I was thinking of doing, like especially the climate that we evolved into, it's sort of more divided. This has happened many times before.
Yeah.
History repeats itself, but people get pretty assed up, not realizing this has happened before.
Man, I'm from Britain. There's a whole lot of stuff going on at the moment.
I know that I'm speaking actually almost directly to you. Yeah. So I wrote these little vignettes that were going to be starts of like stories that I was going to write about, but they became songs. About just kind of observational songs. I played acoustic guitar and I played bass on the record, and Shooter Jennings produced it. We used Shooter's band, and I'm really proud of it. It's like another book for me. It's a launching of a book as opposed to a. It's not a rock record.
Okay.
So I don't know if people will be surprised or not, but I thought it was important for me now as a father.
How many kids do you have?
And a citizen.
How many kids do you have?
I have 2 daughters. Yeah, one's playing right now. Her band's playing somewhere here. They're called the Pink Slips. She's 21. But it's just with all these, I've read so many goddamn books on history, and I still do, that I thought maybe it's time for me to just point out some things that I've observed. Not pointing fingers at anybody, because that does no good. And I feel I have a voice that I can kind of say, this has happened before, and here's what happened then, and it's happening again. Let's not fall for it.
Well, speaking of Europe, have you got any plans to come over to Europe at any time?
I think I'm going to do some festivals, this summer, in June.
Any in Germany?
Perhaps, yeah. It's all getting laid out. I think I'm going to start in Washington, D.C.
That's not in Germany?
It's not. But I'm going to play particular shows. That means something, I hope to. So, but the festivals we're working on right now.
So there was a new interview that Appetite for Distortion did a couple weeks ago. So a guy named Dr. Stephen Taxton, who was Axel's chiropractor during the User Illusion tour, gave an interview and talked about his time with the band. So Taxton is a veteran of the industry and had his first chiropractic job touring with Guns N' Roses for over 2 years in the 90s. He'd also been on tour with Bon Jovi, and on the show Taxton revealed that he never ever saw any drug usage from the famed Guns N' Roses frontman. So here's what he had to say. Axel and I haven't spoken in 20-something years. During that time, Axel was clean, and it was important for him to be clean, and probably why he and I bonded so quickly. I mean, within a couple of days, I felt like I was his brother, and we got super tight as a result of that. However, my drug stance for what I represented fit very well for what he was trying to do at the time, but the other guys had different ideas. He did say that I did tell one that if he did not stop his abuse, that he would not see 35 years of age. And much to my surprise and delight, 6 months later, I got a phone call from him, and he cleaned up and has been clean and sober for a couple of weeks. Well, that's great for a couple of weeks, but that's a tough thing to overcome. As far as I know, the guy has been clean and sober since and has done great things with his life. So turning now to some Duff news, he's been giving some interviews recently. He was in NAMM a couple weeks ago, and he talked about being confronted over a stolen guitar by police once. So he talked about his early beginnings. He said, I had an older brother, Bruce, who's a left-handed player, and I write left-handed. So I was originally a left-hander because he had a left-handed bass, and he taught me Birthday by the Beatles, which is a major blues scale. Basically, though, that's all I really knew, but that's enough to get you through a long time. He left the house, and I ended up buying a Gibson EBO bass when I was about 13 with my paper route money from the Seattle Times. It was about $125, and I'm sure it was stolen. I got a guitar sometime after that, and I was a drummer also at the time. I played somebody else's drum kit and finally was able to scrape together enough money to get a drum kit of my own when I was probably about 17. So I had a bass, I had a guitar, and I had a drum kit. The decision was made to save up money and to come to LA and try my hand down there. My drum kit was a piece of shit, so I basically sold that in Seattle. I had some money from the work I'd saved up, and by this time the Gibson EBO, I don't know what happened to that thing. I got a Yamaha bass and I had a BC Rich double cutaway, as well as a Les Paul Jr. type of guitar. I moved down here and pawned my guitar to a couple of stores, and it turns out that guitar was stolen from LA 5 years prior to me coming to LA. The cops came to my apartment and took the guitar away, so all I had left was the bass. I had sold my drum kit, and my guitar was taken by the LAPD, and I had a Yamaha bass. And that was right about the same time I met Slash through an ad in the recycler, and Izzy had moved across the street, and bass was basically what I was going to be playing whether I liked it or not, and that's all I had, and things lined up for me perfectly because I was going to be a bass player. And when Guns started, that's when I really started paying attention to other bass players. Now, we've also got some Gilby news. So Gilby's been talking about his solo record, which is supposed to come out later this spring, and it's finally got a name. So the name of the record is going to be The Gospel Truth, and he's signed a deal with Golden Robot Records, which is the same label that Dizzy was signed on, as well as Angry Anderson. And Mark Alexander Erber, who is the founder and president of Golden Robot Records, said, I couldn't be happier to sign such an incredible artist like Gilby Clark to our GRR international roster. He's totally authentic through and through, and he brings such a wealth of experience to his songwriting, playing, and producing. and I know the world is ready for his new solo album, which is a long time coming. It's an honor to release this record. Now, Clark was also equally excited about the signing, saying, "I'm happy to be part of Golden Robot family for my new solo record." And I use the word family because I feel like I found a new home. We share the same passion for rock and roll is alive and well, and together we will turn it up loud. Now, at last month's NAMM show in Anaheim, Clark stated that the long delay in getting his new solo album completed, he said, "For me, I can't do a record unless I feel good about the songs. I want to make a record that I want to listen to. So these songs I'm really excited about, and they're new songs, and it really is classic rock. So there's really nothing new on it, but it's just a new version of what I like to do, which is loud guitars, man." So I went in there, I used guys like Kenny Aronoff on drums, Steve Perkins, some really great players. I played all the guitars and did all the singing on it, but I think it's good, and I think it's a fresh approach on classic rock, really. Now, Gilby spent the last few years working on the album, which will reportedly feature members of Clark's solo band, including E.J. Kurse on bass and vocals, and Troy Patrick Farrell on drums. Now, as you guys know, Gilby replaced Izzy back in 1991 during the Use Your Illusion tour and ended up staying with the band until late 1994. After exiting Guns N' Roses, Clark would continue as a producer and a solo artist while playing in Slash's Snake Pit, Rockstar Supernova, Heart, and many other acts. And his first solo record was actually released almost 25 years ago, and it was called Pawn Shop Guitars. So that does it for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe. And guys, also be sure to go check out my other channel, Rock and Roll True Stories. The link is down below. Thanks for watching, guys, and hope you have a great start to the weekend. Take care.
Hey, this is Dizzy Reed from Guns N' Roses, and you're watching GNR Central. Yeah!